All right, welcome one and all. We're at the semifinals. One of these players will go on to the finals for the Go for StarCraft Monday Premium Cup, sponsored by the awesome, the excellent CM Storm, Cooler Master, a really cool company. Oh, didn't even mean to do that. Anyways, getting into this match, this is Rifkin. I'm casting today with Binary Evasion Zervas, although he sounds a little bit like Stefano. You guys can tweet at him if you want to find out more about him. He's at BEV Zervas on Twitter. But getting into this game, spawning the lower left corner of the map, it's your purple Terran player. Here on New Planet S, it's Goody.
And in the top right corner, we have the Red Sox player, Zanster from Team Fnatic.
Now, Zanster, I know you're a lot more familiar with the European scene than I am. Have you particularly seen him square off against Goody, against Mech before? Or is this like something where he's just struggling because he has not really had to deal with this yet?
I honestly have no idea. I talked to Zanster though, but just about CVC when I met him in ladder a couple of times, and I haven't seen many tournament games, so no. And you don't see Mech too often, to be honest. Like most of the players who used to play Mech in Wings of Liberty now play Bio-Widowmine as well, like Lucifron or...
Oh man, Biomine is so sexy. But I don't know, I wouldn't really classify Lucifron as a big mech player in Wings of Liberty. Like, he was definitely able to, but I feel he was one of the few Terrans that would constantly swap it up. I don't know,
Lucifron, he was one of the good Terran players.
Yeah, well, you know what, actually, I would classify Lucifron not as a mech player, not as a bio player, but as a Banshee player in Wings of Liberty. That guy had some of the sexiest Banshee control, man. I'm actually really excited since they reduced the cost of Cloak. I can't wait to see him start utilizing it, but... Oh, is Zanster going to kill the SCV? No, not quite.
By the way, I like the fact that Zanster is scouting with his drone every single game, because Goody is definitely capable of doing proxy racks like Reapers or double Reaper or double 11-11 racks. He often does that.
Yeah, the scouting information alone has really, like, okay, it's 1-1 in the series, but each time he scouted, it's that much better for him. It could be 2-0 at this point if no scouting was going on whatsoever. But if you guys saw there in chat, it looks like Monty actually advanced on the other side of the semifinals, so Monty will be in the finals. One of these two players will be going to fight the mighty Monty in the grand finals for today's cup.
Now, Monty is doing pretty well recently since he's in Vega.
Exceedingly so,
cool,
yeah. But I gotta say, like, whether it's Zanster or Goody coming forward, like, first off, I'm glad it's not gonna be like a ridiculous matchup for the finals, but more importantly, both of these players are very good. It's gonna be difficult for Monty, I feel, more so than it would be for, say, Goody or Zanster.
Yeah, it's true.
But again, we're gonna have that slow play come out of Goody, and that's perfectly fine. There's a lot of players who get irritated with this play style, and it's for good reason. Like, Goody, he's not aggressive. He pushes when he needs to, but he's so defensive, and it's so hard to crack that shell. Like, any Terran player turtling, already difficult to deal with. But then you put Goody in the hands, like, oh my god, impossible to break.
Yeah, if you have Goody on Newkirk, you're sure that the game will go on for 1 hour in a TVZ, for example.
Yeah, it's funny. My favorite person, Happy Zerg, aka Slavic, anytime he fights... He is, but every time like he finds Goody on ladder on stream, he's basically, "Alright guys, I will see you when I'm 80 years old," you know, expect that really long game.
Well, Happy Zerg is a nice guy.
He is, he's a really nice guy. I actually did an interview with him. I was a little sad it didn't get much attention. I think a lot of it's because WCS was finished up. I picked up the poor time to post it, but he's a really nice guy. I would highly recommend people check him out. He's another really good Zerg player. You know, there's a lot of really good Zerg players to come to think of it. Oh, we got this guy I'm casting with, Stefano. You got Happy Zerg, you got, no, I'm sorry. We got Zervas, though, a really good Zerg player, casting with me today, and I couldn't be happier.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, I'm really happy that we're... Well, I was going to say, I'm really happy that you're casting so much Zerg with me. Because if this was all like a TVT or TVP, this would be, I think, a less dynamic cast.
I don't know, man.
But Zanster... He's going for this kind of early third, which I don't disagree with, but still, you always have to be so careful. Goody being mech the way he is, he's going to have Hellions roaming across the field. And establishing drones and defenses at this base, not going to be too easy.
Yeah, and all for the cloaked Banshee once more. But on 2 bases now, no third CC just yet, so he's trying to put on a little bit of aggression against Zanster with Hellions and Banshees, old school style. But
Super
Zanster
old
scouts
school.
it with the speed overlord. I like that decision.
Yeah, I really like players who take Numenite Carapace, not even at layer, but at the tier 1 as we see here, as it allows you to get so much more scouting off than even an Overseer would. Now the Overlord is going to die, but if he was paying attention, probably would have lived. Busy though trying to clean up the Hellions of Goody. Goody though with some really nice micro, actually killing way more of Zanster's circlings than I think he should have been able to, as he did have that surround off there for just, albeit temporarily.
Yeah, and more Hellions are coming, and Hatchery gets a little bit of damage. Could be scary later on with the Banshee.
Well, you know, yeah, I was going to say, he might not kill us with the Hellions, but the Banshee will certainly finish this off, and I think Zanster's just kind of accepting the fate of that base right now. More Hellions coming across here. Jesus, Goody, dedicated to this push.
And another drone goes down. Only one worker killed though. All in
Yeah,
all.
a lot of lings, but first worker to die this game. Queens are here, but you know what? The Queens are really not going to contend well with this. The Banshee close going to take the Queens out while the Hellions dance around the Zerglings.
Yeah, Hellions are pretty good, but it's on creep at least, so Zanster kills a couple of them, but he's not able to kill the Banshee because of the cloak.
No, man, the Queen's going to fall before getting that last Hellion in. This hatchery, even if by some grace of God he holds this hatchery, it's going to be so low, any sort of follow-up is going to knock this thing down. Now, Overseer's out, but of course one Queen cannot take on a Banshee, much less 2. Cloak or not, doesn't really matter. Hellion's coming from the low ground as well. Goody just constantly funneling across the field right now. This isn't even like super dedicated. He's just sacrificed his 3rd command center to do this, and in turn took out his opponent's 3rd base, and I think that was entirely worthwhile.
Oh yes, indeed. While getting the 3rd for himself now and killing so many units. Just take a look at the resources lost tab. It tells the story.
Man, 700 to 2,000.
And Zanster wasn't droning at all. He's actually even in the drone and SV count with Goody, and this is not a good position to be in, especially against mech.
Well, these Roaches, you know, they're going to do a great job with the Hellions, but 3 Banshees are just way too much damage. Even Queens at this point aren't going to be that effective. He is dancing around the Spore Crawler, so I mean, it's an intelligent choice to try and force the engagement. But I mean, man, if Goody even just contains him at this point, this is such a good start for our Terran player. Sorry, not for the Zerg player.
And guess what? Goody will play mech once more.
We know
the mech upgrades and stuff.
we need that like trumpet sound that makes the disappointed sound. So it's like, oh, Goody's playing mech.
I think there was one game once where Goody had a tech lab at a barracks, and he started to research Stim, and the cast was like, oh my god, Goody's researching Stim, but it turned out that it was a misclick and he cancelled it.
Yeah, anyone else in the world, you'd be like, this is pretty standard play. But I want to point this out. Behind all of the Zanster did get Mutalisks out on the field. Now, there's a bit of a catch with the Mutalisks that kind of makes them hard to utilize against Terran, and one is the fact that they clump very easily. A Thor Blast does a ton of damage to them, but of course you can Magic Box a Thor, so that's kind of a bit of a wash. But with so many turrets and the potential of Widow Mines down, I find it's going to be very difficult for Zanster to do any damage to Goody's base. But I think if he takes fights in the middle of the field, I think he'll win all of those fights.
What I really like about Goody's sense of the game, to be honest, is, I don't know, he didn't scout the Spire, but he's getting turrets instead of just scanning the main base, because if you scan like the main and see nothing, and then you have to scan again at the natural to see the attack, there would be 1 or 2 meals less, which would be some turrets.
I think a really big part of the game too is the fact that, look, Goody's saying I've made Hellions and Banshees till the 12-minute mark of the game. My opponent would be foolish not to get anti-air at this point.
Oh, yeah, it's also true.
I mean, even as me, as like an amateur mech player by comparison, like, I can't tell you how many times I've gone for that Thor and it's not been enough. You really need those turrets. And it comes down a lot to timing, but I like this. Zanster taking a sneaky base. It does get scouted. Oh, wait, did it get scouted? Okay, it did. Wasn't sure there for a second as they didn't go all the way up the ramp, but Goody gonna try for a run by. Not gonna be able to pull that off. Roaches are waiting. And, oh, they will catch the Hellions on the rebound. Really nice map control here out of Zanster.
Oh yeah, and 2 Hellions will go down. A small victory. Nothing too huge.
People
But
asking who's
Creepspread
casting.
is suffering as well.
Hey Stefano, I'm casting with you, right? But actually, oh my goodness, Goody went for the transformation servos. And you don't see a lot of players do that, actually. It's a weird thing to see.
Oh yeah. That's true, I've never seen it before, I think.
Okay, well, the Roach Army is... Actually, no, I was thinking that I've seen Mario use it before, but still, it's a very rare... It's like Dios... Yeah, it's a very uncommon upgrade, but okay, Mutalisks can come in here. There are more than enough Thors to volley away. Half the Mutalisks go down immediately. And man, with Siege Tanks and a Banshee, these Roaches don't stand a chance. The Hellbats, of course, as well, a very scary force as well. Oh, I'm saying as well way too much, but either way, man.
Yeah, it's
Goody.
so hard to break the Hellbat line now. And now you can even march into the third base of Zanster and kill the Queen, drones, even the Hatcher maybe.
Alright, well, big push for the Roaches going to try and bust this. They should be able to do a ton of damage. They might clean up the tanks and the Thors, but the Hellbats are being left untouched. They're hitting everything with a splash damage, but the Thors even are still going to prevail. And Goody, meanwhile, hitting the top left base with a tank and 2 Hellbats. Man, this is looking not so good for Zanster. He's lost. The drones are evacuating, but they're evacuating into a siege tank and 2 Hellbats. Oh no! Zanster, worst retreat of all time. Good game is called, and Goody, guys. Yeah, he's gonna go on to fight Monty in the finals.
Well, the build of Goody, that aggression build at the third base, just paid off so much. He killed so many queens and zerglings, and Zanster couldn't draw it up. I think the best reaction to it would have been earlier Roaches, or, since he got speed, like, take all of the queens at once and get it to the third, while adding 2 queens in the main and the natural, instead of just suiciding the first queen, second queen, third queen.
Yeah. And oh my god, hang on,